everyone! Okay, so I realize I normally do my favorites videos in a more casual setting, but my husband put my backdrop up in the studio over the weekend and I just want to use it because although it doesn't look that new to you, this whole space is so new to me. So, you know, I kind of want to use my newness. So let's just dive straight into favorites. I went to Bali in Australia in September and I finally got some color on my skin. I had spent so much of the summer indoors that I never really got much of a tan. And while I acknowledge the fact that tanning is really bad for your skin, I like the way I look with a little bit of a color on my face, so I was really excited to get some color because now it could suddenly mean I can use my favorite foundation. This is the Boots No. 7 Instant Radiance Foundation and I use two shades mixed together. This one is Cool Vanilla and the other one is Warm Ivory. I just mix them together because I feel one is too warm and the other one is too cool. I know I've mentioned these before, but they are my absolute favorite products, so whenever I'm able to whip these out and use them on my face, I get so excited. And the reason I love this foundation so much is that it has been the best for my skin out of everything that I have ever tried. It is on the sheer to medium coverage. It is the closest match that I've ever found to looking like real skin as opposed to foundation just looking like foundation on your face. Because let's be real, most times you can tell if somebody is wearing foundation. No matter how much that person may think that it looks like their skin, it doesn't generally. So this is the closest I have found that actually looks like my own skin. And there's something very comfortable about this formula for me. Every time I put this foundation on, I just exhale in satisfaction. It is such a pleasurable foundation to put on for me. And as somebody who doesn't necessarily love foundation, it's nice to know that I've got a product that is just perfect for me. But again, the color match isn't always perfect because I don't always have a little bit of color on my skin. And I can't go out and just buy this because you can only get this in the UK and Ireland. It's not available at Walmart or Target, I think it was, that sold this in North America. They just don't have this particular formula. So I always have to get it when I'm overseas. My next favorite is a brush, which is kind of surprising because I'm not super into brushes. But I picked this up at IMATS Toronto, and this is the Royal & Langnickel Moda brush M18, and it's called the Super Crease. It is dirty because I use it constantly. And although this is not shaped that much differently to the Real Techniques brushes that are practically the same, let me see, I've got one here. This is the Real Techniques Domed Shadow Brush. Honestly, there's not a whole lot of difference between them, but I've been opting for this one more than the Real Techniques one, probably because it's new. That being said, they do practically the same job, so if you have access to Real Techniques, you can buy that one. If you have access to Royal & Langnickel, you can buy this one. It does a great job at diffusing the color in my crease. This is the first step I always do when I'm doing my eyeshadow. I put my transition color on this and then just buff it through my crease. And it does a great job at diffusing the color, spreading it out, making it look like it's natural. And I mean, I just think it's great. It's nice to find a cheapy brush that does the job. And I think this might have been $6 at IMATS. Like, it's not expensive. I don't see the point in spending a lot of money on brushes. So this one does the job and it makes me happy. So over years of experience, I have noticed that I get super dehydrated skin on planes. And this time around, I didn't want to just deal with the problem after I had landed because flying from Toronto to Bali took us like 26 hours, something like that. And I usually use the Sephora Collection sleeping masks when I get off the plane and go to bed that night, and those work really, really well. But this time I kind of wanted to try something different and apply moisturizer on the plane. I know I look kind of like a Fruit Loop applying this because I've never really done that before and I think it's a little bit silly, but it worked. So the moisturizer that I brought along with me is a smaller tube of, it's called Gamla Apoktekid. And I got this in Iceland when we were there last year. This was actually given to me as like a party favor after I'd finished the half marathon. There was only a few women who had run this race and I was one of them. So they gave me this like little gift bag of goodies of skincare. And this is called Daga Creme, which I believe is just like a facial moisturizer. I did look it up at one point, so it's not like I'm putting foot cream on my face. But this stuff is, I would almost call it just one of those no-nonsense moisturizers. You put it on your face and it does the job. So I put this on twice on the plane on my face, I think at 4-hour intervals, and it made sure that when I landed, I wasn't like a desiccated carcass. I wasn't dry like a desert. My skin still felt hydrated and plump. And maybe that would have worked with any kind of moisturizer, but this is the one I wanted to try out on the plane, and it did the job. So I really like it, but I think you can really only get this in Iceland. Next up is a product I know I've mentioned before, but I use them constantly, so it's always worth mentioning them. This is the Tarte Quenched Lip Rescue Balm. Oh, it's made in Canada. I didn't know that. This one in particular is the cherry color. It is mostly a translucent balm. It does have a little bit of a color to it, but it's not something that's gonna look opaque like what's on my lips right now. I love these so much. They smell minty fresh. They are comfortable to wear. They are so glossy and so shiny. I put these on constantly when I'm not sure what kind of lip color to wear, because usually I put my eyeshadow on first, and then I usually have that moment where I'm like, I don't know what kind of lip color is gonna match it. So if I choose something that's a little bit more glossy, a little bit translucent, I feel like it's not too much overkill, usually because my eye looks are quite strong. And these are really, really great to wear to work because they wear off nicely. These are just one of those foolproof products that I'm going through constantly. I've gone through 2 tubes already. I think I've gone through rose and another one was clear maybe. This one's a cherry color. I don't know if I already said that. And I think these are foolproof. These are great to have on hand everywhere. I've got some in my office at work. I've got some at home. These are great to have. So the last 2 items I have to talk about are 2 eyeshadow palettes, and they're basically in the same vein. They are the Too Faced Peach Stuff. So the first one is the Sweet Peach palette. I've talked about this one ad nauseum before. I've gone and loved this thing so many times over the 1.5 years I think that it's been released. I've got huge dips in some of these pans. I brought it on vacation with me to Bali in Australia, which was kind of fun because it was their winter going into spring, so I felt like appropriate to be wearing peach colors again, because right now in Toronto it's now fall time. But it was nice to like bust this out and be like, woohoo, I get to wear corals again. I always love this palette. My favorite shades in here are hands down Candied Peach up here. I love Summer Yum and Puree. It's just a great palette for travel because although there's quite a bit of neutral in there, the brighter colors in here really help to amp up a look. And my fail-safe look with this was always, didn't matter what I was putting anywhere on the lid or on the crease, I always took Candied Peach and popped that at the top of my crease to really add like a bang of color. I really, really like that look. So that's the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. And of course, with the success of the Sweet Peach palette, they've come out with the Peaches and Cream collection and the Just Peachy Mattes palette. I am sad that the scent on this one is not the same as the Sweet Peach palette. I do prefer the smell of the Sweet Peach one. This one's a little bit more, well, there's more cream in it, which is not as appealing to me, but I know there's some people that like this more than they like the Sweet Peach one, so that's good. This one is an all matte palette except for Peach Sangria, which has a hint of a satin shimmer to it. It's not like a foiled shadow, but it's not completely matte like the rest of them. I love this thing. This thing is so freaking great to wear. Peach Cobbler is, oops, no, I'm reading them upside down. Peach Punch is my favorite color. That's that really vibrant one. And then, which one is it? Just Peachy is a great, great lid shade. It looks honestly a little bit boring in the pan, but it goes on the lid surprisingly neon, which really, really impressed me. Absolutely love the colors in here. I think they are just a beautiful extension to the Sweet Peach range. I love when any kind of eyeshadow palette has this kind of like bright, vibrant, peachy color to it. So for them to keep going with this range of products, I'm super excited about it. Well, that's it for the September favorites. I had a great time with these products, and you know what? Looking at them now, there's not a single limited edition item in here. That's kind of nice, to be honest, because so often we talk about limited edition items and then you can't get your hands on them anymore. These are all available. You can get them if you want them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!